Helplink Show. Lachlan here, and it is December 2020. Finally, we are here, eh? For some ways it's gone fast, in other ways it's gone very, very slow this year. As you all know, we've been dealing with this pandemic, and but there does seem to be some hope on the horizon, and looking forward to a more normal new year. So, what is on the show today? Well, we're going to be talking to John McNamara, who is a health and safety officer with Teagasc, and then we're also going to be talking with Peter Hynes, who is a farmer, but also a mental health advocate. And why we're speaking to them is that because I wanted to take a look at the area of farmer and rural community mental health, especially during this time where people who may have already been quite isolated because of their work or because of where they live, or even more so due to COVID. And I wanted to see what sports are out there and what's going on in the space, and hopefully you'll learn some bits and pieces about how to take care of your mental health if you are a farmer or a person living in a rural community, and this may be a benefit to you. So here we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Helplink Show. It is December of 2020, and we have a fascinating show ahead for you. We have two organizations we're going to be talking to, and the first organization we're going to be talking with is Teagasc. And from Teagasc, we're speaking with John McNamara right now on the line, who is the Teagasc Health and Safety Specialist. John, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me, Lachlan, and thanks. You pronounced Teagasc correctly. Well done.
I have a bit of the blast, but not much. It goes well sometimes. So can you tell me, first of all, I suppose, what is Teagasc?
The name, first of all, it's a Gaelic word for to extend or to reach out, So really what we are is the Irish Agriculture and Food Development Authority. We do research, advice and training with farmers and with food. And, we seek to develop the industry from a technical point of view, but also from a human capital point of view. And my role in it is, as you said, as health and safety officer.
Right, and what does that contain as a health and safety officer? I mean, is that farm safety, or is it a whole mixture of things?
No, it's basically we have an internal function. We have 1,200 staff in Teagasc, so. We have an internal health and safety function, but my role is to advise and guide farmers, on agricultural health and safety. Okay. Now, I'd like to state that we particularly emphasize both health and safety, and we apply the total health model, because health and safety are intertwined, and I think I read an EU document this morning. Health is a 10 times bigger problem than farm safety, so we want to promote both. That said, I think farm accidents, are really horrible things, and we want to cut both accidents and ill health to the lowest levels possible.
And when you mentioned health there, that's the whole compass of health. That's both physical and emotional mental health.
Yes, it is. Yeah, and I think health and mental health go together. Now, I just like to say that, I'm trained up to a doctorate level in this area, and I'm also a member of the Engage Health Network, run by the Health and Safety Executive for people who promote health. Right. No, but that said, we are predominantly agriculturalists. Okay. And, as far as the farming community is concerned, we provide them with knowledge and information and that. So we put great care into making sure that what we say is correct and valid.
Yeah.
But in the whole health area, we work with health professionals, and we take our message and line from them, and, we communicate it. Now, we're very skilled at communicating with farmers, and obviously we pass that information back to the health services, and we're always seeking to do the best job that we can.
Exactly. Now, I came across Teagasc myself when we were, one of the services we have in Helplink is a new platform called mindhacks.ie, where we have video and podcast libraries of all to do with mental health. And I came across the Teagasc recent videos that were done around minding your mental health. Can you talk me through a little bit about those? I can't remember that guy's name now. It comes to mind, but he was teaching short videos about how to be mindful and that kind of thing.
Yeah, no. Well, maybe could I start at the end?
Sure.
Yeah, we're holding health and well-being symposia, and you'll find all our information on Teagasc Twitter. And we're holding one on the 12th. That's tomorrow night at 8 p.m. And we have a further one on the 19th and on the 26th. So we filmed them in a television studio about 10 days ago. Right. And, we have eminent experts on both health and mental health and, from various institutions, Trinity College Dublin and IT Carlow on them. So I'd just like to put that in. Now,
just to let the listeners know that John's actually, this is obviously pre-recorded, everybody. So John's talking about the November dates there, and as it's December, John, will people be able to look back at those videos in December?
No, absolutely yes. Like what we do will be recorded and will be available. Yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's been spearheaded by a colleague of mine, Mr. Michael Summers. Now, Michael is a forestry advisor, but he's deeply interested in both health and safety, and he's also interested in drama, So he's got quite an array of friends and colleagues, and, he does very artistic and creative things for us. So he's doing it. But since the COVID has started, we have been doing press releases, written articles, webinars, videos, Zoom on both health and mental health, And I think the best way, maybe if you want to see these, is to look back along our Twitter feed. Okay. Now, the other place you'll find them all is on Zoom. And I should say that our website is www.teagasc.ie. So if you type in mental health or health in there, a lot of our materials, if not all of our materials, will come up.
Yeah, actually, I just have to pull it up there. The one I was particularly talking about, which I thought was very useful to people. It was done with Mental Health Ireland and yourselves. It was John Jared Murphy talking about mindfulness for resilience. For the farming community, and just fantastic work there. So that's great to see that you're getting that kind of content out there to people that can watch even during the COVID situation,
No, yes, and it shows how we operate as well. That we work with experts in the field, such as Mental Health Ireland, and we cooperate with them. Yeah. Now we also cooperate with St. Patrick's Hospital in Dublin and various other institutions also.
All right, excellent. So, come here. Tell me, why does mental health matter to farmers and to rural communities and that kind of stuff? Well, is there a big difference for farmers and for people living in rural areas when it comes to mental health?
Yeah. No. Well, first of all, we're interested in assisting farmers in whatever way we can. So people would see us as giving agricultural advice, and that's about kind of trying to make the best you can of what resources you have available to you, and that. No, but the other side of advisory work is trying to be involved in, let's say, human capital development. Assisting people to to be the best people they can be. Now, obviously, mental health matters and mental health matters. If a person is in poor health, then it's going to affect their lifestyle, and it's a major form of stress and disability and loss of income and hardship for farm families.
Yes.
So we're in the business of promoting health and mental health. Firstly from a lifestyle point of view, but also that to sustain the livelihoods of farm families.
Of course.
Now, farming different. Well, I think the principles of mental health and health are probably common across the board. The challenge with farmers is that they're more isolated. Maybe they're spread out. There's 136,000 farms. They're all spread out around the country, and that leads to challenges in its own right. Yeah. Now, the nature of farming is also an issue. Prices can go up and down, the weather can change, and dare I say it, in recent years we've had the climate is changing, it's getting tougher, and climate catastrophes are coming regularly. So they can put all those issues can put stresses on people in rural areas and farming communities.
Yeah, definitely. And so you mentioned isolation there. Obviously pre-COVID, isolation was one of the biggest issues for farmers and farming communities, and I can only imagine that COVID has made it much worse, because these local areas where they would go to meet, like the marts and that kind of thing, have all been shut down or they're online, and that must be a big issue.
No, yes, indeed. Like COVID is unprecedented in my lifetime. Where we have to stay at home, or we can't go. We stay within 5 kilometers. We can't meet people, that sort of thing. So yes, it's naturally likely to put pressures and stresses on farmers. Yeah. Now, my instinct is that farmers have adopted to it to a large extent, and farmers would be somewhat used to being on their own, but we can't be complacent, and we must all challenge ourselves to keep our mental health up. And I think a crucially important message in all of that, is to maintain our social contacts as best we can. And there has been a huge amount of innovation since COVID struck. I see 80-year-olds using Zoom to keep in touch with their grandchildren, and that sort of thing. Yes. But I think there's always room to do more.
And I know there has been, for certain industries, like say for the creative arts industry, there's been some things set up for them around like some counselling and that kind of stuff. Is there much extra support during this time for farmers that they can get in touch with, like services and that kind of thing?
Yeah, no. Well, I'll give you our broad message first. Okay. And I think what we encourage farmers to do is, firstly, to keep in contact with themselves, among themselves and with their friends, Now that can be done to a very limited extent within COVID guidelines, but everyone has a phone, dare I say it, and, to keep in contact, with your buddies, whoever they may be, and that's the crucial thing. Yeah. Now, the second issue just around mental health, from a farming point of view, the things that cause mental health issues, and we've written scientific papers on this, are poor economics, poor income, long hours, poor working conditions, poor health and safety, poor health, dealing with paperwork. Yeah. Now, our agriculturalists, be they advisors or consultants, we can deal with those. So what we'd say to people is, if it's a farming issue, come to us basically as agriculturalists.
Yes.
Now, we feel also that people should be in contact with their local doctor, from a health perspective, getting a regular health checkup.
Yes.
And we have published a major study showing that farmers have 3 or 4 times more risk of cardiovascular deaths than other sectors of society. So getting a checkup. But mental health goes with that as well. That if people have mental health issues, of a serious nature, I think their medical doctor should be involved, and they should go there. Now, there are various helplines, and the HSE have a very useful website, www.yourmentalhealth.ie.
Yes.
So we'd encourage farmers to use all those resources. Now, one last thing I'd say, and I'm a man myself, but men respond differently to ladies, and men tend not to seek support. So I just put that idea out there that we all need support, in hard times. So that I'd appeal to men to consider using the supports that are available.
Yeah.
Also.
Exactly. And that is a big problem, especially in Ireland. It does seem to be that there's also, unfortunately, a lack of services for people in rural areas. And a lot of the services, unfortunately, are mostly in the towns and the cities, which can cause their own problems because of that. And I have to say, the advent of online and telephone counselling hopefully is of some assistance to farmers and that kind of thing as well. There's a lot of free resources out there for people, and as John just mentioned there, yourmentalhealth.ie would have a lot of those HSE supported services out there. What can be done now, and I suppose into the future, to help promote good mental health in farming and rural communities?
Yeah, well, following on from your last question, I tend to agree with you. Services tend to be located, where they're commercially viable, let's say, near the bigger cities, and that. So people may have to make an effort to get them if that. But there's also the opposite side, that I think we should be encouraging people to use services, that are available. Now, could I just mention a few things regarding our services?
Sure, please do.
That we have written a few booklets and books on mental health.
Yes.
And we have one written by myself, and you'll find all these on our web. It's Positive Mental Health. So I kind of cover the whole broad area of mental health, about maintaining positive mental health in a kind of a short format. And now we've another. Sorry,
I was going to say, do you want to? Often people, when they hear kind of things like positive mental health, they wonder, well, what exactly is that? I mean, so the difference between positive mental health and mental ill health is exactly that what you can be with positive mental health, you can actually be preventative. You can upskill yourself, you can help yourself as well as getting support from others to not go down a road that's going to get into a very bad way. So that's what you mean by positive mental health in this case?
No, absolutely. That we have I think I've seen research on it, but a lot of health and mental health is within our own capacity. So positive mental health means kind of being health literate, if you like, or knowing about the issues and dealing with them. And that's what we've sought to outline in this, in all our booklets. from a farming perspective.
Yeah.
And dare I say it, the HSE are advertising, on, with key issues regarding mental health.
Mm-hmm.
I recall the last ad I heard a day or two ago, like that the last point number 5 on the list was to mind your mood, that just be aware of your mood and, just, how the COVID situation is affecting you and that sort of thing.
Yes.
So basically, I think it's getting messages to people. No, the other booklets we have is Coping with the Pressures of Farming, which is a much bigger book, and it's on our web, and it gives a lot of information, and it's more broadly based than the positive mental health one.
Okay.
And the third booklet I'd just like to mention is it's called Fit for Farming, and it's a book on it's a farmer's health booklet really, and it gives information on mental health, but on health in farming, and it reminds me of the first message in the current HSE ad, which is to take regular exercise.
Yes.
Like that exercise produces endorphins, and it allows the mind to straighten itself out, as it were, and it's good for mental health. So that's what can be. That's what we have. No, but as I said, it's about health literacy, and I think, if I may say so, in Ireland, I think, we see health as meaning hospitals and healthcare,
yes.
But really health starts among us all. And, in the long term, we can control a lot of our health. And dare I say it, even in the short term, I think we can greatly assist our own mental health.
Yes. By engaging with those things that you mentioned there. Yes, that's excellent. Like I'm having a quick look at the website here, and I'm seeing there's actually quite a lot of podcasts on there as well, and webinars. So there's lots of content on there for people to go through and listen to or watch as well, because I suppose it's very important. We always make note of it within our organization as well, that not everybody would have the high levels literacy, actual literacy. So videos and podcasts can be very, very helpful for this kind of thing.
No, absolutely. And I think, my own research, and there's lots of research out there, that the visual and the verbal, work really well. Could I let you into a little secret about advisory work generally? That
Please do. Yeah.
No, we used to be one-to-one, an advisor meeting the farmer, and we still do that. But what we found back maybe 20 or 25 years ago was that discussion groups work very well.
Right.
Where we're the facilitators, but we'd have a group of farmers, maybe 15 farmers or so, discussing whatever the issue is, farming issues or health issues or whatever. Yeah. And the synergy among farmers talking to farmers amplifies the message, and it gets greater adoption. So I think, leading on from that, I would say that people talking to trusted others and sharing kind of sound information and keeping in contact with each other, those are hugely positive kind of resources at the present time. Yeah. So I think, I'm sure your organization has a lot of material, and so has ours. But I think the challenge is to get use of those among the farming population.
Exactly. And do you guys facilitate those kind of groups currently around health as well, or is that something in the future you might be doing?
Yes, the answer is yes. We facilitate about 800 groups in the country. Now, they also do health and safety. Now, to be fair and honest, they tend to concentrate a bit more on safety than on health.
Of course.
But we're seeking at the moment to increase the amount of health promotion that they do. And to be fair, they're democratic organizations. We can't impose our will on them. Like it's not a top-down approach. The farmers are to a large extent setting the agenda themselves.
I see. Okay, very interesting. Okay. So over the coming, because of COVID and everything has changed, and everything's up in the air and that kind of stuff. Do you know, are those groups gone online now, or are they still meeting up socially distanced, or how is that working?
Yeah, no. I'll just say that how Teagasc works is that in normal times we hold meetings, public meetings, and seminars, and that. Now with discussion groups, you become a member of one.
I see.
And I'd have to say there is a fee. But and that. Now what we're doing at the moment is we're doing the best we can on telephone and that sort of thing, Zoom.
Yes.
And that,
Yeah, we've all had to adapt, unfortunately, to the situation. And I was actually talking with some people from the organization Grow and Grow Mental Health, and they were saying that they had to basically put all their group stuff up online. That's why it kind of clicked in my head there when you were talking about groups. And yet some of the people didn't like it and that kind of stuff, but actually more and more people are getting to actually like it, because they're getting to chat to people in these groups from all over the country now, not just in their local area and that kind of thing. So they're benefiting from the experience of others in different places and that kind of thing.
I think that is the way it has worked with the COVID, like that. We've put our materials are up on the web, as you've said, but the challenge is to get people to use them and to, and it's a gradual, all kind of adoption is a gradual process. And sure, we mightn't like it at the start, but dare I say it, we have to adopt, due to the conditions imposed by the pandemic,
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are actually surprised, though, at how useful it can be. So there is benefits to everything, like everything in life. There's good and bad bits about technology, and that kind of thing. But I do think that it's, thankfully, under these conditions, it is bringing people together a little bit more, and that's really what we need to achieve. So do Teagasc have any research or plans for other things coming up in the next few months?
Yes, indeed. Could I just? It's maybe in the next year or so. Maybe could I just mention our On Firm Ground project, right?
Okay.
Which is funded by the Department of Agriculture, the Department of Health, and the HSE.
Okay.
And the plan is to train all advisors and consultants in the country, on health promotion, so that they can assist their farmer clients with health promotion. Now, it will be a signposting service, and it will be a limited service. We will be just giving advisors enough to know, to give them the skills to raise issues regarding health or mental health. Right?
Brilliant. Yeah.
Now, we also have a research study associated with it. It's led by a Walsh scholar, a young man called Conor Hammersley. Right. Conor is from the middle of Tipperary, and I'm pleased to say he collected an All-Ireland medal last year as a sub with Tipperary, so I wish him all the best. But Conor, this time last year, he commenced, and we have done quite a number of focus groups around health and mental health among farmers. And Conor is currently writing scientific papers because he's doing a PhD in that area. Right. No, but I'm glad to say that we have issued an interim report on Conor's work. It's on the web. If you type in On Firm Ground, it will come up. And I think anyone interested in mental health should read this document, because I think it does give a very clear picture of the challenges of promoting both health and mental health in rural Ireland and among farmers.
Fascinating.
So we're putting a lot of work into that study, and as I said, Conor will be issuing papers and further reports, in the next 12 months or so.
Fantastic stuff. It sounds very comprehensive and interesting for people. John, thank you so much for coming on the show and talking to us a little bit about Teagasc and about your role there, and also about generally about mental health and farming communities. It is a subject that is not talked about a lot and definitely needs to be talked about more. And more supports are definitely needed out there. So if anybody wants to check out those brochures that John was talking about, they are on the website, which is teagasc.ie. That's teagasc.ie. And there's also, as he mentioned, lots of videos in there as well. There, in particular, the videos that I mentioned earlier on, I found very, very good were the ones by John Jared Murphy between Mental Health Ireland and Teagasc, and it was all about basically a little bit of guided meditation, a little bit of guided breathing, so you can bring down anxiety and you can work with your stress, and very, very visual and very easy to follow. So if you have a chance, please do check out those videos on teagasc.ie or mindtext.ie. And John, thank you so much. We appreciate your time.
Oh, thank you for having me, Lachlan.
Our pleasure. So everybody, welcome back to the Helplink Show. And now we're going to be interviewing a man called Peter Hynes, who is a farmer, but also is very heavily involved in the past few years in looking at mental health for the farming and rural communities, and trying to support people talking and having better mental health through getting the supports they need. Peter, have I summed you up right there?
Yeah, perfect. Good morning, Lachlan. Wonderful to chat to you.
Sure. Thanks very much for coming on. I was looking at looking you up as what I do when I look for people and that kind of thing. And as I mentioned in the intro there, you've doing for a few years now, you've been looking at the area of mental health and farming and farmer mental health. How did that all come about?
So myself and Paula won the Farm of the Year in 2017. And at the time, I suppose we felt that we could maybe let it benefit others, and we decided to run a charity open day on the farm later that year. And we picked two charities, Aware and Breast Cancer Ireland. And we were discussing on social media one day why we picked the two charities, and obviously we had three daughters, so with four women in the house, we thought Breast Cancer Ireland was a very relevant charity because it's all about creating awareness, and we were delighted to support them. And I just mentioned something briefly about mental health and why we decided to choose Aware. And it must have struck a chord with a guy up the west of Ireland, because he DM'd me. He was in a real, real dark place, and he's really, really struggling with himself. And I ended up chatting to him on DM on Twitter that night for about 3 hours, and checked in with him the following day, and we kept in contact over the coming weeks. And it I think it really just struck me at the time how just being willing to listen to someone and chat to them could help them so much. And a couple of weeks after that, I shared my own personal story with the Farming Independent with Louise Hogan at the time, who was editor at the time. And Louise was very, very good to myself and Paula. We gave her a full interview, and we got to proofread it and got 48 hours to decide whether we wanted to go to print or not. And we just said, let's go with it, because it's so important that we do learn to talk and open up and express how we're feeling.
Yeah. And since then, you have, unfortunately, we missed interviewing you for this in October, but you've now set up a thing called Ag Mental Health Week. Is that right?
Yeah, I guess I suppose myself and Paula have worked with so many different organisations and charities over the last couple of years, and we're friends with so many of them, both here and in the UK and around the world. And we just felt when we're doing charity work, we can only really help one or two charities at a time by creating a week of awareness. We could do so much for so many organisations around the world, but likewise get the conversation going. And I think, the harsh reality is that farm safety, I suppose, farm safety awareness really makes the headlines, and yet we lose more farmers to suicide, tragically, than we do to farm accidents. And I just kind of felt this year that, right, we need to change that. We need a specific week of awareness for suicide prevention in agriculture, and mental health awareness, and just talking and discussing how we can prioritise our mental well-being, and hopefully help someone along the way. And so that's where Ag Mental Health Week 2020 started, and I'm delighted to say that we're already planning the 2021 week, and we were overwhelmed by the response.
Brilliant.
We had ambassadors from 11 different countries. We had panel guests from 6 different countries. Wow. On live stream every night, and it was, the reach it got 450,000 impressions on Twitter that week. I suppose we learned a lot of lessons in how we can improve it and build it, but I think that's just part of life. It's a learning curve, and it was wonderful to see what it did from our kitchen table in the first year. So it's given us the drive to hopefully take it to the next level and help many more.
Yeah, exactly. And as you mentioned earlier on there, it's about people talking, but I suppose, and the big thing is to try and get that message out there. And how do you, what do you think is the best way of getting that message out about taking care of your mental health to the farming community?
And actually, one of the key things I think we need to do in the rural community and in the ag sector as a whole is start to prioritise our mental well-being, because the reality is there's a 50% chance you will struggle with your mental health in your farming career if you do not prioritise yourself. And that's a frightening statistic. So, and I think myself and Paula became ambassadors for the Tackle Your Feelings campaign in 2018, which is a mental well-being campaign run by Zurich Ireland and Rugby Players Ireland, and it's taught us so much in how to prioritise ourselves and look after ourselves with a busy schedule. But likewise, I think, as the years have moved on, and with us being ambassadors for them, it's a message that we're really, really keen to share, that by doing the simple things, by getting a good night's sleep, eating well, being honest with yourself and how you're feeling, because I think that, look, let's be honest, if you're in a low place and you're not willing to admit it to yourself, you're not going to take the step forward to reach out and seek help. And I think likewise, we have so much in common with top performing athletes in that there's a lot of physical demands on us as farmers in our working day. I suppose there's we have to be extremely fit. We need to eat well. We need to sleep well. And if we're not doing all those things, we're not going to perform, you could say, at the busy times of the year, like harvest or calving or whatever. And very much like, I suppose, athletes, they know they have an extreme, a point in their season where they really have to be at the top of their game. Yeah. So they know how to build up to that. But I think we as farmers need to realise that and also learn that we need to take time out. Like, there's no top rugby player is going to play at the top of their game for 12 months of the year. They're allotted breaks in their career to recuperate and let the body recharge itself and spend time with family and stuff. So I think we need to look at ourselves more like top athletes and that have to perform at certain times of the year.
Yeah, because you can't shut off at the end of the day.
No,
it's constant. It's 24/7 for you guys within the farm. So it's managing that time in the best way possible. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's 100%. I think we definitely need to learn to manage our time better. I mean, for dairy farmers, we work 7 days a week, and basically a dairy farm has to run all year, but you can always get somebody in to give you a week off, or get a relief milker in on a Saturday evening or a Sunday evening, so you take that evening off. And I think in some ways lockdown has maybe it's challenged us a little bit in that it is a little bit hard to get staff into the farm, and likewise, I suppose there's so many social events cancelled that we haven't had those opportunities during the summer. But I think it's all within our own control that we can take time off if we want, and it's a case of saying, look, I'm getting finished at 5 o'clock in the evening. This is my quiet time of the year, and I can get finished early. And if I don't start for an hour later in the morning, it's not the end of the world. There's nobody looking over the ditch saying, you have to start work at 6 o'clock and work a 12-hour day, 7 days a week. That's our decision, and we need to realise that we can change that.
Yeah, so it's like you were saying, it's management of your time and of your mental health because of that. And like if your mental health isn't right, your physical health won't be right, and vice versa.
Yeah, no, 100%. Two go hand in hand, and I think, and I've had a couple of very good conversations with GPs recently, and I think it's something we all need to do, and I've tried to do it over the last few years, is just go for that MOT once a year and make sure that everything's as it should be. But likewise, that half-hour chat with a GP can be a great chance just of being alone with someone that you trust and that you have confidence with, to say, look, physically I am great, but I'm struggling a little bit. I need someone to chat to, and I was very lucky actually when I struggled with my own mental health that it was my GP that I went to, and Paula went with me and encouraged me to go to him, and he put me in touch with a superb counsellor.
Yeah. It's that key element of medically taking care of yourself, but also like from the talk therapy aspect, it's just key to support. Even if you do need some maybe extra medical support around your mental health, that talk therapy combined with it is key to everything like that. So I suppose a lot of people would have this idea that isolation is part and part of a farmer's day to day anyway. So there might be kind of thoughts that, oh well, they're used to it anyway, kind of thing, like with the lockdown and stuff, like but as you were saying earlier, it's actually compounded it and made it a lot worse, because the social avenues that they did have beforehand, like the GAA, for example, or other sports, the socializing, popping down to the pub for a pint, that kind of thing, that's all been taken away. So it has become extra isolation on top of what's normally there. Are there many dedicated farming mental health supports that people should know about, that, beyond the normal, say, the Samaritans and that kind of stuff, you can pick up the phone and chat to and that kind of thing, but is there dedicated stuff?
I suppose in some ways it's something that we lack over here is specific agricultural related support services and charities. There's so many wonderful organisations in the country, and like Aware and Pieta House and the Samaritans and St. Patrick's in Dublin, and we work with Choctaw, the Thomas Hayes Trust in Kilkenny on a number of occasions, and they do wonderful work too on suicide prevention and counselling. But I do think over in the UK, and we've worked with a huge amount of them there, they have so many wonderful localised support services that are really geared around mental health and suicide prevention, and understand how farming works. We are working a lot closer now with Embrace Farm, who are the support network for people that have lost loved ones to farm accidents, and they're doing a lot of work now around mental health, and we're very keen to support them, and have been over the last couple of years, because I believe that's something that they want to grow, and by them being farmers themselves, they understand the challenges that it's like you said.
So that's why I actually asked you that question, is because you said earlier on that when you started to talk about your mental health, you got DM'd by a person, by another farmer. So I always wonder about that connection, like, for the best will in the world, a mental health professional that has had all their education and lived in the city and all that kind of thing, and is not involved in farming at all, is there some sort of a barrier there to it? So do you feel it's much better to come from somebody that knows the farming community, like you're talking about those embrace charity, or do you think anybody can help?
I think, look, to be honest with you, I think anyone can help, and it's always very much a case of just listening and talking and giving someone pointers in the right direction. And I think maybe the best way we could move forward is by normalizing the conversation as an industry, and that goes for, I suppose, for all the ag merchants, the co-ops, the feed companies, fertilizer companies. Like, they're the people that are. We often see a suicide prevention charity or counsellor as the first line of defence for someone that's really struggling, when in actual fact it's the sales rep, the sales manager that's going in out of a farm. They know their customers, and all those companies can actually get mental health first aid training for their staff, and we have organised it for a few companies in Ireland in the last couple of months, and it gives them the tools to spot the signs and know the things to say when someone is struggling, and they're going to know straight away if one of their customers is off farm, so at least they have the toolbox to kind of say, okay, well, look, what's going on, or can I help with anything, or and very often I think, as we all know, like a problem shared is a problem half, but also I think if you look at the feed lorry and the milk lorry, if someone is contemplating suicide, that might be the back of that lorry might be the last thing that person sees, and we work with the FCA, the Farm Community Network charity in the UK, who have now got Arla Co-op to put the suicide prevention number on the back of all their milk lorries.
Oh, wow.
And I firmly believe in the last 12 to 18 months that is really, really the way forward, because if someone's watching that lorry or van or truck driving out of their yard and they see that number and they have been contemplating ending their own life, it gives them an option. Okay, I can do what I was thinking about, or I can ring that number, and everyone has a smartphone, so they can take a photo of the back of the lorry, they can go away, think about it, and hopefully ring the number. So I just think it gives people an option, but also I think if you look at the lorry drivers and also farmers and people in general, it's about, okay, we're not afraid to put this number on the back of our lorry. This is real. People do end their life, and we're not, unfortunately, we're not changing the statistics. And I don't like to call them statistics, but that at the end of the day, you look at year on year anywhere around the world, the figures are the same, and we need to change that. So I think by normalising that conversation, it reaches out to the person that is really struggling or contemplating ending their life, that it's, my industry believes it's okay to talk about this. So it's okay for me to feel like this and say to someone, look, I'm actually thinking of finishing it. I just don't know where to turn. I need help. Where if we as an industry aren't willing to have the conversation, then the person that is feeling like that is going to feel the stigma that it's not okay to talk about this. There's a shame out there. So I cannot say to someone, I just don't know how to turn the corner. I need help.
They're ignoring it. If the industry ignores it, it just compounds the problem. Whereas they embrace it, like you're saying there, it can really. I mean, that's brilliant idea. And hopefully the Irish industry will take on some of that as well. It would be great to see. I mean, that's brilliant, because at the end of the day, the majority of farmers, correct me if I'm wrong here now, but they wouldn't be, for example, in town or in the local village or the local city a huge amount, because the farm takes up all their time within that, So whereas you have other people that are wandering around town, they see shops, they see, like, for example, the Samaritans, they see lots of different charity shops around mental health. and there'll be posters everywhere in libraries and that kind of thing. So they wouldn't be as exposed to it as to the fact that it's okay to talk about your mental health as others would be.
And it's amazing, like even in Wales, out the DPJ Foundation in Wales, they do stickers with their phone number on it, and a lot of vets and feed reps and stuff will put the sticker on the back of their van. And likewise, I mean, if we had something like that going here and did them in bigger scale for the back of vehicles and in smaller scale, stick them on the door of every milking parlour or farm shed. Because someone might need them today, they might need them in 12 months or 2 years' time. And I don't think someone's going to come at it. Like, I don't believe a farmer's going to say, "Who stuck that sticker on on the door and peel it off?" They're going to be. I think they'd be very proud of the company that actually took the initiative to do it and say, "Yeah, it is okay to talk about mental health."
Brilliant. So to all the companies that are involved in farming out there, please heed what Peter was saying there, and maybe have a chat with Peter or your local management team or whatever it is. Another place actually might be really good for that when the marts open up again. It'd be great to see signage in there as well around that. So Peter, thank you so much. So you're planning for 2021 Ag Mental Health Week. Would that be around the same time again in October?
Yeah, so we'll be running the same week next year, the 10th to the 16th of October. We've a lot of plans. We've discussed it with a number of people around the world already, what way we move forward and expand the conversation, and we're looking at developing a website so that all the support networks can be included in it globally, and we'll see where we can take it.
Think think locally, go globally. It seems to be definitely with yourselves. And besides that Ag Mental Health Week, is there anything that you'd like listeners to know about that might be coming up in the next while that you guys would point to?
We're just, at the moment we have an Irish farming calendar that we're selling at the moment, with all proceeds and all revenue actually from the calendar is going to two wonderful charities, Choctaw Suicide Prevention and Embrace Farm for Farm Safety. And likewise, if anyone is into walking or running, I'm Team Ireland captain for Run 1000, which is a 5 nations challenge from the 1st of January to the 31st of January. And the goal is for whichever country breaks the 1,000 mile mark first. And I have every intention of Team Ireland flying that flag. And I think it's a great way for us all to, I suppose, maybe focus on our mental health and getting out, even if it's just a mile a day. It doesn't matter what distance you do. It's a combined team effort, and January is a dark, dreary month after Christmas. Just having a bit of fun and a bit of a challenge with us, and we all have nominated charities which we'll be donating the money to. So we're really looking forward to flying the Irish flag and getting everyone out motivated.
Excellent. And the calendar sounds actually like a really good Christmas present. Where can people go to buy that?
So at the moment, it's on the Cormac Tagging website. They're selling it for us. Or likewise, if someone emails me or DMs me on Twitter, my Twitter handle is Peter Hynes 15 on Twitter, and my DMs are open. So if someone just DMs me on Twitter, I can send them the PayPal link and their address will be emailed to us that way then. And it's we have 250 calendars sold already, and it was wonderful to get it fully sponsored so that we can, all the money raised from it can go directly to the amazing charity, or two amazing charities.
Fantastic news. Well, Jesus, it's a power work you're doing on top of your own work there, both yourself and Paula. And listen, thank you so much, Peter, for coming on, and best of luck with January and the running. And hope it all goes well for you. And thanks for coming on to the Helplink Show. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Bill Lachlan. Wonderful to chat to you.
No worries. wasn't that excellent? I really enjoyed both of those interviews, both with John and Peter. And Teagasc are doing such great initiatives around trying to tackle mental health for farmers in rural communities, and Peter as well with the setup of the AG Mental Health Week, and with all the different initiatives that he's involved in over the next while. And he really has become a great representative for the farming industry when it comes to mental health and looking after your mental health, because look, we all will have ups and downs in our life when it comes to our mental health, and we really need to realize that it's okay to go get support, or just to talk to somebody about it. If you can talk to a friend or a family member about it, great. If you can't, then there are lots of services out there that are there to support you, like Samaritans, like Pieta House, like Alone, Aware, Grow. So many fantastic organizations that are there for you if you need that support. And please don't let things fester in your mind. The only way to deal with these things is to talk about it, and to then also maybe gain some skills and how to manage and maintain your mental health. Because as Peter was saying and as John was saying, if you don't take care of your mental health, your physical health will suffer. And if your physical health will suffer, then the farming you do, the industry that you're in, will suffer because of that. So yeah, it's an all-in-one thing, lads and ladies. Please do look after your mental health. There is a certain beauty about this time of year where things have kind of gone to sleep a bit, but at the same time, as the farming community knows, and lots of other people that like to plant in their gardens and that kind of thing knows, this is also a time of getting ready for the new year. So there is always hope. There's always the thought of waiting for those new shoots to come back up again, and hopefully in the meantime we will have a nice Christmas, and we'll all be able to lift a cup and wish everybody a fantastic 2021, and hopefully we will have a much better year when it comes to being able to be with each other, and to be able to enjoy life a bit more than we have been able to. So listen, thank you so much to everybody. I'm actually going to take some time myself for the Christmas and to mind my own mental health as well. So unfortunately, I won't have a show for you for January, but we will be back in February with some more interesting topics, interviews, and chats with people that are involved in helping others with their mental health. So that's it from me for 2020. Nola conna gach duine agus go mai blin ma agus slándúil gach duine le haidh fiche hain. That's it, folks. I will talk to you in the new year, and don't forget to keep your head up.